there's kind of a lot of questions in the chat room that are similar to this, but I'm gonna claim it as my own. What current veterans or what current Bengals players should be put on notice, either from the 11 picks that they made or the undrafted rookie class that they brought in? What guys that are current, either tenured starters, tenured veterans, what guys do you think should be put on notice and or might be shown the door in a surprising fashion because of some of these guys that they brought in?
Yeah, and I mentioned this earlier. The obvious one is Jeremy Hill at running back, but I think even Giovanni Bernard should be aware of the fact that Mixon can do a lot of what Bernard can do, and a lot of it better. He's got better hands. He runs better routes than Bernard, and he's bigger, so they can use him in all situations. So even when Gio is healthy, I think he has to work a little bit harder to have his same role that he always had handed to him for the most part. Obviously, Michael Johnson had a down year, and really he hasn't been good in a few years now. Drafting 2 pass rushers should be completely understanding that his snaps should probably be cut in half. He probably shouldn't take 850 snaps again. But not just him, his backups. I think Wallace Gilberry, even though he was re-signed, I think Will Clark in the last year of his deal should probably fall behind Lawson and Willis in pass rush snaps. I think Clark could probably potentially not make the roster. Wallace Gilberry didn't make the roster pretty much last year and had to be brought back after he was cut from the Lions. So those guys should definitely be put on notice right there. I think Cody Core, yeah, they may have liked you, but unless they see another jump in development, Josh Malone could have your spot right away. I think Cody Core has to show better on special teams. I think Alex Erickson has to show he can play more at wide receiver than just being a special teamer and kick returner. Those guys have to be aware that they just brought in 2 receivers, and Malone can play a lot of what Core offered as kind of a raw speed guy, especially last year. If Core takes the next step, he'll find his way on the roster and save himself a spot. But if not, maybe they don't keep 7. Maybe just because they have to keep an extra lineman this year, they got to go 6 receivers, maybe even 5. Let's hope not, because I think they have the depth there. But these guys should be aware of that. I think another guy that continues to make the roster that was very similar to an Evans pick was Marquise Flowers a few years ago. Continues to make it as a special teamer, but now when you have Evans coming in on a rookie deal, provides a lot of the same things and now has probably more potential to be a starter down the line. That's an easy swap right there. I think Flowers finally probably doesn't make the roster and Evans jumps into that spot. And I think probably some of these undrafted linebackers look pretty good, whether it's a Hardy Nickerson Jr. Could make a spot at the back end of the roster, because I think they probably still need some depth at linebacker, especially for special teams.
Yeah, and for the younger folks out there listening, Hardy Nickerson, his father was a great football player on some awful football teams. If you remember, he was a great Buccaneers. Well, I don't know if I should say great, but he was a very, very good football player on some very terrible Buccaneers teams.
He might have been great if his teams were good.
Yeah, I mean, if he was in those late 90s, early 2000s Buccaneers teams where they were always in the playoffs and whatnot, I mean, I think he would have been a much more high profile guy. He was a good player for a long time on some very bad teams.